Hey, Beard, what is this? I'm your Huckleberry. What is that?
You know, I'm not really sure, but I've been practicing all week for this episode.
On today's episode of PJ and the Beard, we're going to go into some uncharted territory for us. We are going to take a look at the Tombstone Treble Boost. Yes, I said treble boosts.
I don't know about you. I've never played a treble boost.
No, the concept, the words actually scare me.
Yes, me too. It's like frightening.
Right.
This is from 37 FX. So Doug Christ, and I like this. He says on his card that he is the head muckety muck. I appreciate
Nice,
that. Yes.
We like people who don't take themselves too seriously.
Yes, we love everything. So far, so I first became aware of 37 FX. They put out his first pedal that he put out, and I think it was like in 2020 maybe, was the fat guy in a little coat fuzz. And I think I even like screenshotted it and sent you a picture of it, or you screenshotted it and sent me a picture of it.
And I sent you a bunch of gifts back of Chris Farley in a jacket.
Yes. So we right away appreciated that sense of humor. And then this came out, the Tombstone Treble Boost. We're working on another series right now. Hopefully that will be out
sometime in our lifetime.
Yeah, we thought it would be out by now, but it keeps the rabbit hole keeps getting deeper. And one of the things I wanted for that series was a treble boost. And so I reached out to Doug and he sent us this. We appreciate that. And
it's really cool. Like the form factor is really unique, and the powder coating, and it's really well done.
Yeah, it looks great. It's a treble boost.
Yes.
And it's never been on the radar. Like the words I wanted to get a treble boost in never came out of either one of our mouths.
No, I'm barely like boost, period, let alone throw some treble on top of it.
Right. So,
because in my mind, it's like, in my mind, not as we play, you'll see it's not like that. But that's where my mind goes.
No, my opinion has been definitely changed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, all right. So the way we did this one was to sit down. We wanted to try a bunch of different things. And so in order to change amps, change pedals, change guitars, we thought, let's just sit down and play with it, record some clips, and then we'll kind of clip them together and talk about them. Just easier than to try and do it all kind of live like we normally do. So, features real quick. We have the boost knob. Got an in and out 9-volt power adapter thing here. You have 3 settings. You have the treble boost setting in the middle, called the Daisy if you do. Again, with the movie stuff. If you push it down, you go to the Smokin' Wagon, which is Fat Mod 1. And then if you go all the way to the top, you go to the Street Howitzer, which is Fat Mode 2. So as you watch each clip, we tried to start in the middle, go down to Fat Mod 1, and then go all the way up to Fat Mod 2. And then sometimes back to the middle or something. But you should be able to see that. First thing we did, there was kind of three things that we talked about. Like, what does it sound like with a really dirty amp? What's it sound like with an amp just about to break up? And what's it sound like with a clean amp with maybe pedals in front of it?
So I think I kicked the party off with my PRS Standard 24 Dragon pickups, pretty hot, and making its debut on the show, my dual rectifier Maverick. And we had it pushed a little bit, and I played something like this. So that was through the Mesa, and it was more than pushed. It was pretty dirty. And what I like about the Mesas is I do like a lot of the low end, and I'm trying to get myself to play more in the mix. And I really found with the treble boost, in the true treble boost position, really kind of gave it some clarity and some tightness, but didn't lose like a fullness sound. I felt that was the one that, for the way we had it set, my guitar and the treble pickup, hot dragon pickups, that gave it some clarity. The other ones sounded huge in the room, got a little flubby maybe, because the amp was already on the verge of flub. So I really felt like in this case, the treble boost in that middle position really gave it some focus, some clarity.
Right, and then that same exact setting, not turning a knob, you grabbed the Strat and played through it again.
Right.
It changed a little bit though, that opinion, right?
It did, right. So with maybe a lower output pickup perhaps, and a Strat that's not quite as beefy as that, probably the down position, which is the medium fat, right?
Right, yeah. It's the
fat guy in the
fat mode
coat.
1 is the smoke wagon,
Yeah.
yes.
So I feel, if memory serves me, because that was about 30 minutes ago, I think that's the one that probably worked well for the Strat. I think I had it in position 2, tried to pick a kind of a common Strat, some really bad wankery playing on my part, but if I could get the idea of what it does.
Right.
So I felt in those two settings, with that same amp set the same way, you had some flexibility on that boost to make it work.
Right. Following that same concept, we went over to the Tyler. Maybe not the same, right? Because we just took the Tyler, turned the volume up a little over half, which makes it break up, maybe just a little bit on the verge of breakup. Plugged the treble booster right into it, PRS, bridge pickup, played a little bit. It sounds a little bit something like this. So Tyler JT22, smaller amp, smaller wattage, pushed, not breaking up, not distortion like the Mesa was, right? I thought it was really nice. I thought the way it pushed the amp, took the amp. I mean, I think there's some inherent drive or gainy, fuzzy sound with the pedal itself, but it really pushed the amp over the top too, I felt like. Treble boost position in the middle, maybe a little bright. Right. But when you bumped it down to Fat Mode 1, or even all the way up to Fat Mode 2, I have to listen back. I'm not sure which one I liked better when I was playing it. I thought it kind of filled it in. It sounded really good.
Yeah, it had some depth to a very small body amp.
Yeah. So from there
we went back to the Mesa. On the cleaner side, we didn't get a pure spanking clean, and I grabbed the Rivolta with a mini humbucker just to see what that would be like. And I paired it with the NUX Plexi Crunch, which we demoed on another video. So you kind of heard what the amp sounded like, then you heard it with the Plexi Crunch, and then you heard it with the Tombstone through all 3 settings. And when I played it, it sounded like this. All right, so that was the Rivolta Mandata through the Mesa on the cleanish channel. And I think, again, the middle setting probably wins the day on this one because the amp, again, has some more low-end characteristics. My ear, I'm still trying to adjust my ear after doing this channel for 2 years to what sounds really big in the room might not sound good in a mix. So I think, again, to bring some tightness and clarity, the middle setting probably works best. Tickled my ear a little bit in the other 2 settings, but probably listening back in the recording probably be a little bit flubby is the word I kept using. So again, but it gives you those options that you can use. You can switch pickups, you can switch guitars, and switch channels on your amp. So that's what it sounded like with the Mesa on the clean channel.
Yeah, and then I think we kind of went back to me. I was like, well, let's jump over to the Fender Hot Rod. Probably without turning around looking, I'm going to guess it's at like 3 or 4. So it's pretty clean. The Fender Hot Rod's pretty clean. And let's throw a couple other pedals in. So one of the first pedal I threw in front of it was this one. This is the Falcon from Crazy Tube Circuits. And so it's a very tweed-like, modeled after like a 55 tweed. So it sounds a little bit like this. So on the Crazy Tube circuit, I tell you, I'm not really sure. I definitely liked when I first clicked it on. Like this has that real kind of tweed, kind of gnarly, kind of hard to describe what I love so much about this tone, but I love the sound of this pedal. And then when you hit it with the Tombstone, in the middle, I thought it sounded great. Then I moved it down. I'm like, oh, that sounds good. When I moved it up, I'm like, oh, that sounds good.
Right.
I wasn't sure. I'm not sure. So probably playback. Yeah, probably playback. But just playing those chords through all of them. And at the end, so, start in the middle, fat 1, fat 2. And at the end, I dropped it back to the middle again. I was like, oh, yeah. So I think I could go just about any way. But I will say that treble boost hit in this pedal I really liked. And then, of course, I bet nobody can guess what other pedal that guy would use. What other pedal would you use?
If you're using a drive.
Yeah, so the Barber Electronics Direct Drive. This is a new pedal to the show. We've never went to that next. Set in the high gain mode, and I think, if my memory serves, with that switch all the way over to the left is kind of like a flat EQ.
Which you flattened it out a little bit because it wanted to squeal and run away and get a little silly.
So we flattened the EQ on that. And just noodled. It's just total noodling. Sounds a little bit like this. All right, so Barber Electronic Direct Drive. I'm not sure. Probably the middle. I like the most, but I like them all. And so, actuality, full disclosure, you had to pull this off my board earlier today,
Right.
And so my board typically would have the Falcon into a direct drive, and then the speaker cranker would be in front of it, which is kind of.
It's not a boost.
It's not a boost.
James Tillman, we know it's not a boost.
Yes. Not a boost. It's not even really a similar circuit, but there are some similarities there.
To how it reacts with these pedals.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I liked it. Whenever you kick those in, they do some cool stuff. Mm-hmm. So that's the Tombstone. If you're not familiar with the treble booster, if it scares you, it is, it's the sound of rock and roll.
Don't be scared, baby. Right. Yeah, for sure.
So, like...
Tommy Iommi.
Brian May, treble booster, range master into a Vox amp. Mm-hmm. Rory Gallagher, who's the guy that Brian May talked to, and he was like, how do you get that sound? He's like, it's a treble booster. And so he went out and bought one, and, it's the sound of rock and roll. It really is. So, I'm not afraid of it anymore.
No, I'm not either. And again, I think we struggled to say which one we liked the best. I think the only one that didn't work without changing anything was the Strat in the middle. That got what I was always afraid of a treble boost. Yeah, but that was just the way we plugged it in and used it, right? Like, but you flip it to one of the other 3 settings and it was good. So it's a really versatile pedal. It can really do a lot with other pedals. It can do a lot with amps. It can do a lot with different pickups.
Yeah. Doug's giving you a lot of options.
Yes,
for that.
Sure.
And what I like, there's multiple ways to use that. Like you said, dirty amp, pushed amp, pedal, behind it. You put this in front of the pedal. Run this first and your overdrive. So tons of ways to use it. Cool tombstone shape. Says I'm your Huckleberry on it. What more could you want? So we always like to take a moment and pause. Just thank everybody that subscribed. Clicking the notification bell. Hitting like. Leaving comments down below. Instagram, Facebook. Anytime you interact with the show, it helps us out. We appreciate that. Big shout out and thank you to our members. Thank you for supporting the channel in that way. And stop by the website and check out what's going on there. And I think with that...
I'm PJ on behalf of the Beard, reminding you, no matter what you hear, you never have too much gear.